Shut up and sit down.
Well, welcome to Sebring International Raceway. It's round 13 of the ChampCar iRacing series. Brought to you here by HJBC. We are very rapidly approaching the pointy end of the championship. The points are getting paid out. We're getting a much clearer idea of who is still in the hunt for the championship, and therefore some of the great prizes that are on offer in this sim racing championship, supported by the ChampCar Endurance Series. What we've got is free entry into a race next year of the winners choosing for our championship winner, but also of the drivers who've completed enough races will be raffling another free entry. So talent not required for that one, just participation. And hey, showing up means that you get the practice in, you keep improving and get closer to maybe your racing goals there. So that is what we are eagerly looking forward to at the end of this championship, is giving away some great and quite valuable prizes in this sim racing league. But tonight, it's Sebring for 1 hour, and the car is the street stock. Big V8 up front, very simple suspension, very simple tires all round. This is an entry-level oval car that can be configured for road courses, and that is what we are doing. David Haynes, it's qualifying underway right now with 3 minutes left. And, well, it's not baking hot on track, but I would not describe that as a cool track temperature, which is very important in these cars for a long race because they can chew through the front tires, they can chew through the rear tires. They are quite a heavy concrete bathtub on wheels with a V8 engine up front. And just a simple 4 on-the-floor transmission as well to go with that. So Justin Hall, the native Floridian, on the pole position right now. That's going to be difficult for anyone to usurp late in this session, but championship leader, defending champ, Alex Albert, second, just under half a tenth of a second behind. So, boy, that is close. Then it's Alex Coffard currently sitting in third. That's another 0.6 of a second further back. So close to first and second. And they've got a bit of an air gap to third. Andrew Archer, the Kiwi, in fourth. So little Scott Dixon wannabe maybe going on there in fourth. And then John Hurley, familiar to many ChampCar races, in fifth. Nicholas Love currently sitting in sixth. And I'm seeing 24, 25, 26 or so cars our turnout, at least at the moment, for this race at Sebring. So that is a pretty decent number. Let's take a ride on board with Nick Love, currently sitting sixth for Love Racing. He's got all of his friends, all of his fellow teammates and racers who come out to these with him. Always a strong turnout from Love Racing, so it's good to see their support of the ChampCar Endurance Series and of the ChampCar iRacing Series. Bunch of good guys, very, very passionate about getting behind the wheel, so it's awesome to have them mixing it up in this championship. And hey, let's take that look at Sebring. Many people will be familiar with it. Old Air Force Base, of course, very famous in endurance racing, sometimes with cars a little more expensive than what ChampCar bring, but nonetheless everyone loves it, very well known. Nicholas Love showing us that it's hot out on track, and what will be very key through the race is maybe moving the brake bias around a little bit. Very, very easy to lock a front tyre otherwise. Let's enjoy riding on board for a moment in the end of qualifying. So checkered flag out at the start-finish line. That's a bit of a wiggle for Nicholas Love, and this lap's definitely not going to be an improvement. Anyone else on a lap definitely still be able to finish it, but for Nick Love in the Love Racing number 9, it's not quite gone how he planned. Alex Coffard in third. Goodness knows what the livery is on that thing, but no improvement on this lap. I think the start of the qualifying would have been a little bit colder out on track. As the track has heated up, it's gone away from some of the drivers, prevented some of them from improving as they may have wanted to do throughout what's a rather long session. Joel Brownsy to the line. And no improvement there because he's gone and practiced the pit entry, which is, of course, going to be important in this race. One pit stop required because you do not have enough fuel to go the full hour. So you're going to need to take fuel at some point, and then it becomes a question of, do you go deep into the race and take that fuel, or pit closer to the midway point and put new tyres on the car, because that, well, can be important. The tyres go away. They are old technology bias ply tyres, and they have to do a lot of work with a heavy car like this. So tyre strategy more than fuel strategy might end up being what drives the strategy that there always is in these races for the ChampCar iRacing series. Equal setup for all, and that setup has a limited amount of fuel. Can't tell you the exact figure in gallons, but not enough to go an hour, and that's what forces everyone into making a pit stop. But sometimes, if you run into some trouble, you can pit early, and you will be able to fuel the car to get to the end from there. So a very, very wide pit window, but still a required pit stop nonetheless. Checkered flags being waved ferociously at the line there for just about nobody, because everyone is in the pits getting ready, maybe taking a drink, whatever they need before the racing gets underway. 60 minutes of Sebring, and I'm going to tell you, that's actually not going to be a whole lot of laps, because pole time is 2 minutes 18 seconds. Might be looking at around 25, 26 laps or so of Sebring. And this is what the grid is going to look like. Justin Hall on the front row with Alex Albert, Alex Coffard and Andrew Archer on the row behind that. Then for the third row is John Hurley and Nicholas Love. Got Max Lupfer and Chris Knisley on row 4. Row 5, Simon Foweather and Charles Kowalczyk. And Jay Sofianek, been a long-time participant in this league. It's Aaron Thorpe there, William Corredor and Joel Brownsy, who we saw a bit of in qualifying. Then behind that, Camilo Carrizosa 15th, Andrew Kosick 16th. David Palermo 17th, Carlos Corredor 18th, Scott Grinnell 19th, David Warden 20th, Javier Pinzon 21st, Ernesto Carrizosa 22nd, Corey Barrett in 23rd, Rachel Kosick, the last driver with a qualifying time, giving Corey Barrett a good run for the money there in 24th. And we've got Matthew Thompson and Philip Hayden with no qualifying time. Doesn't mean they won't take the start of the race. Doesn't mean they will, though. It'll be the back of the grid if we're going to see them for tonight's proceedings. Full pace lap here. It's going to give the drivers a good opportunity to warm up, get their eye in, get ready, get set before we get racing. So pace car rolls out, and pace car speed I think is going to be around 50, 60 miles an hour. So not so rapid, but not so slow. Drivers of these cars are not going to struggle to keep up with that, despite it being a Porsche 911 GT3 with a bit more power, a bit more grip, and a bit more sophistication than our race cars. Pace lap from Sebring. it's a family affair today in Florida for sure. We've got Rachel Kosick and Father Andrew Kosick on the grid together. We've got 2 Corredors and 2 Carazoses. And who else can I pick that are going to be friends or teammates or work together out on the grid there? Well, there's always some level of cooperation, but also a fierce rivalry between the huge-ass drivers. There's just too much ego for our own good there, so expect Justin Hall and Alex Albert to really fight each other for that one. And of course, Alex Coffard, always the wild card. You can never expect him to do what he's told from 3rd. Who else have we got from Love Racing? Helpfully, they always put on matching liveries, which makes them easy to spot. So, Love in 6th, Charles Kowalczyk for Love Racing in 10th. Looking up and down the grid, that's the only 2 I can find. They definitely had 3 in the practice races. There you go, 2 here in the chamber for Love Racing for today at Sebring. Hoping to get some points, hoping to put on a good show, hoping to have some fun, I'm sure, and I wonder and if any of the Love Racing guys are in the hunt to maybe complete, is it 11 or 12 races this championship, and put their name in the hat to get drawn for a free entry into ChampCar Endurance Series race of their choice in 2021. I think that's up to the value of $1,400 or $1,500. Very, very worthwhile. And that'll put a smile on your dial for next year, help you lock in some of your racing plans, and I think make you popular with your teammates as well. So we'll see how that one goes. But for the racing, pace car is in front row. Justin Hall and Alex Albert. Justin Hall, that's a great jump from him down the pit straight and towards turn 1. He solidifies his lead, but it's cold tyres for everyone on the way to the very fast and sweeping turn 1. Justin Hall a little wide of the apex, but that's a safe line behind. How is everyone doing? Fanning out 3 wide. John Hurley cops a hit check, gets back onto the racing surface, gets it back under control. I thought that was going to be a nightmare, but then Hall is off the circuit. Alex Albert through into the lead. Difficulties under braking there for your pole sitter on cold tyres. Hurley cops another tap there. Not Hurley. Alex Coffard, forgive me, cops a hit. And they're 3 wide. Love Racing on the outside. Just keeps it together. So, well, the body on these cars can take some hits. They're designed for it. But it's definitely been a little contact here, a little contact there as Andrew Archer goes off at the hairpin as well. Cold tyres, very long braking distances in these cars. Like some road-going cars you'd experience in the ChampCar Endurance Series. There's no ABS. The brakes are only so good and the cars are heavy, so you've got to get on the brakes smoothly and early. And that's tough to do when you're racing in a pack like they are here on lap 1. Coffard and Hall, that's some action for second place. Max Lupfer is well positioned to try and take advantage of that as the huge-ass teammates collide. Max Lupfer manages to dodge that. Hall and Coffard. What do we make of that one? Contact on lap 1. Not a great look. And it helps Alex Albert at the lead of the race now by 2 seconds. John Hurley has made his way through into second. Nicholas Love into third. So the big winners so far on lap 1. Simon Foweather up 5 spots as Luke is now having problems. Look there, did he pick up a slowdown penalty? I think he did. dodging the melee was it picked up a slowdown penalty for Max Lupus, dropped him back, but he doesn't have much damage on board. So huge changes for position on lap 1 here. Albert up 1 spot, John Hurley up 3 spots into second, Love up 3 spots into third, Simon Foweather up 5 positions into 4th place. The level heads, I think, have prevailed on lap 1. Tyres are going to start getting more temperature now. Maybe that will help the drivers settle down and settle in. So, yeah, a little bit of bumper banging here and there out on circuit. Some pressure on Hurley for second. Nicholas Love right with him. Racing versus Love Racing for second and third. And just a 1/10 of a second in it. Sturdy bumpers on these cars, and it is bumper to bumper for second and third. Locking the inside tyre on the way in for John Hurley. Later apex for Nicholas Love. Different lines out there. Both of them working out just about the same in the end, but I worry if you just carry a locked inside wheel into every corner, every lap, and really wear down those front tyres, and by the end of a stint, struggle to turn this land barge into the many corners here at Sebring. Big winner opening goings, Corey Barrett from, well, the caboose of the train at the start. He's now up 7 positions, sizing up a couple more as well. Corey's probably well practiced in driving a land barge with questionable tyres and suspension from working on his own Corvette. So he's sizing up Scott Grinnell, and Camilo Carrizosa not far up there as well. What the qualifying Barrett wanted, but he's kept it clean so far, and through Sunset Bend, well, we know how many lines there are through there. He's taken one that hasn't quite helped him get close to the number 22 in front. There's a line that turned in a little early, maybe didn't put as much wear on the front tyres. We'll see how he goes throughout this stint. Justin Hall's going door-to-door with the 161. That's Charles Kowalczyk, Love Racing. Doesn't want to give up anything, but Justin Hall, your pole sitter, trying to work back through the field around the outside of the big bend. It's going to put him to the outside of the big braking zone for the hairpin. This is where a lot of the moves get made. Very, very long braking zone. Around the outside, be a difficult place in these cars to make a move. He's going to try to keep his nose in there, loosen up the 161 a little bit. But Hall, he's going to make a move. I think he's going to have to get to the inside somewhere. Because around the outside, it's tough to carry speed in the tank that these cars are. He can, oh, bit of a lockup from the 161. Leads to a locked brake going deep, and then Hall gives a little tap. Doesn't want to take the position that way. All on in the top 10. Justin Hall actually set the fastest lap of the race last time around, so he's still got that speed. He's 8 seconds off the lead with a lot of cars between him and the lead, as you can clearly see. John Hurley trying to break the toe, trying to defend the inside from Nicholas Love, and Simon Foweather and Andrew Archer are right in place as well. So into Sunset Bend, John Hurley has the inside. Parks himself there. That forces Love a little wide, and Simon Foweather takes that as an opportunity to tuck back underneath and get a good run. It's 3 cars in 2 car lengths now as they are side by side across the line, and Simon Foweather in the nuclear-powered DPRK machine tries to find where he's going to go. He brakes early, turns in early, tries to tuck underneath Nicholas Love, who's out wide. He's banking on these two battling, giving him an opportunity. Otherwise, it's too wide and a parking lot in front of him. Big hip and shoulder contact. These cars can take that. He breezes out wide a little bit. Foweather up a spot. Love back one. And all helps John Hurley as he gets a teeny bit more breathing room there. Andrew Archer wants to get in this as well. Looks to the inside at the hairpin, but brakes cautiously and sensibly early. That puts him on a good racing line to pick up the power smoothly, which gets more and more difficult to do the deeper you get into this race. V8 up front likes to torch the rears up the back. It becomes harder to pick the throttle up smoothly. So taking a line that lets you smoothly roll into that throttle becomes crucial. Love deep into the corner, nearly cleans out Simon Foweather, but they carry on, and now it's Archer putting the pressure on Love. Catching them, Kowalczyk and Justin Hall. They haven't dropped Max Lupfer, who we know can be pretty quick at times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cars for a line for third place. No, second place almost, so long as Hurley doesn't get away. Alex Albert, 5.8 seconds over everyone else. Managing the pace, maybe managing the tyres, potentially managing the fuel as well. He's found himself in a good position, but it is still very, very early. 51 minutes to go. ChampCar iRacing Series from Sebring. Tail end of the championship now. Whoa, 3 wide in Sunset Bend as Justin Hall tucks underneath Charles Kowalczyk, who has Andrew Archer around the outside, and they are 3 wide across the start-finish line. And I think Andrew Archer is going to back out of that one. Yes, so he is. Oh, Goose is cooked for the 161. Charles Kowalczyk throws it in, finds no grip, loses 2 positions as Justin Hall sweeps through and up into 5th. Andrew Archer is going to follow him. Now comes Lupfer on Kowalczyk. This section of corners are difficult, especially in a car like this. Not so nimble. Lupfer can't take that spot away this time. All went well for Justin Hall, though, who baited his opponents into backing out and going in too deep, respectively. Finds himself in 5th, staring at the back of Nicholas Love in 4th. So far, Sebring's producing great racing in these cars. There was some fuel strategy tension at Auto Club last round, but not as much of this kind of pack racing that we're seeing here at Sebring. Sebring a little bit more popular with the road racing competitors, a little bit more familiar to the ChampCar competitors, at least the ones on the Eastern Seaboard and the Floridians. Battle continues here, there, and everywhere in the top 10. John Hurley's little breakaway for second has been eroded by Simon Foweather and Nicholas Love. Andrew Archer has a little bit of breathing space. And then Kowalczyk still under pressure from Max Lupfer. Who's saving fuel? Who's saving tyres? All these guys still staying out. No one going for the pit lane at this early stage. The only 2 drivers we've seen pit stops from were Jason Fianek and Carlos Corredor, and I think their hands were forced on the strategy. You can see maybe a little bit of cloud cover. The drivers getting their eye in. A lot of personal best laps and a fastest lap of the race by Alex Albert, but John Hurley's facing the wrong way in turn 1. Oh no, that is no good. Thankfully, he wasn't actually hit there, but he would have seen everyone coming at him. That is definitely going to deserve another look. Tried to get across underneath from Simon Foweather. It didn't work. The door closed. And that sent poor John Hurley helicoptering around. It's also let Nick Love up into second and Justin Hall into third. And then both of them go deep into the hairpin as I speak about it. But it is free real estate for these guys. Archer in fourth now. It's cost Foweather and it's cost John Hurley quite dearly there. So I think the next move shaping up is your pole sitter. Justin Hall taking a look at Nick Love. It's a few good straights that allow overtaking, but then you get the sort of middle sector of the circuit through Tower Bend and the S's, and then towards Lamar Corner here, where overtaking more challenging because you can't just throw this car down the inside. You'll lock a brake, you'll sail wide, and you'll torch your tyres. You've got to think a couple moves ahead because this car can't react that quickly. And it's a good run on to the back straight for Justin Hall. He'll pick up a little bit of a slipstream, nothing dramatic, but just enough that it'll help your run if you've got more momentum going your way. Time runs out towards Sunset Bend. It'll be about going well through this corner. Very, very wide from Love. Medium well from Justin Hall and Andrew Archer. Very rare. A lean line to the barriers at the inside. And both of them end up, all of them end up pretty similar. But down the inside goes Hall at turn one. Just enough space given. Love doesn't back out of that one. Gives Hall the inside then for the next sequence of corners where I think it's tougher to hang around the outside. Locked brake from Love. Archer wanted to dive down the inside, realized the space was not there. Kowalczyk making moves in the pack as well with Lutfer on the tail. It's 15 minutes done in the race, still 45 to go. I would say at least 10 minutes still before we see drivers making pit stops as a strategy call. So maybe try and get some new tyres on early, maybe make an undercut. We'll see. That's when things will get interesting in this pack as well. Justin Hall, when he was at the back of the pack earlier, was 8 seconds away from the lead. Now he's worked his way through the pack. He's 9 seconds away from Alex Albert in the lead. So working his way through the pack hasn't actually cost him that much time to Alex Albert, but he hasn't caught time to the leader, and it's still a very comfortable margin that your race leader enjoys. Deeper in the pack, Corey Barrett and Andrew Kosick. Not particularly close there, but 14th and 15th within a second. Corey Barrett's worked his way in front to be +9 positions since the race started. Oh, dodging the 22, that's free positions, make it +10 for Corey Barrett. Scott Grinnell's had a problem. Let's take a look at that one. Scott Grinnell, Club New York. Talk about if you're too eager with the throttle, the rears can just loop on you, and that's just all he's done. No grass, no bouncing across the curb, just too eager to open up the loud pedal and unleash more than 200 horsepower. We go back some excitement mid-pack at the pointier end of the field, though. Nick Love's just gone and lost a position or two there. Now racing with Max Lutfer. Love was in third or so between Hall and Archer, and I think he's called that one day done. Calling that one a retirement for Nick Love. The problem earlier, he just ran off the track by himself. So, not sure, but that is looking like a retirement for Nick Love. Gives a lot of breathing room to Justin Hall in second, who now has a handy gap to Andrew Archer. He's the conductor of the train now. Justin Hall took 1.3 seconds out of Alex Albert that lap just gone, though. So Hall knuckling down, putting his best focus on. It's getting a little bit closer to the lead, breaking him free of those behind. Andrew Archer also with a little bit of free space. But it's Kowalczyk and Lutfer that are going back and forth now. Lutfer around the outside is deep on the brakes. I think he's gonna make that one work. It's just Kowalczyk backing out. Interestingly, so Lutfer holding on to fourth place now. Next battle back, Foweather and Knisley. Both of them iRacing Club Mid-South. So I think that typically encompasses your Alabamas, your Louisianas, and maybe even your... Nope, Carolinas have their own club. So it doesn't include the Carolinas. Mississippi in Mid-South as well there. So from the same corner of the nation, these two guys, and they're battling for some of the same corners on track as well. Smooth, that segue, perfect. Foweather up 3 positions in this race so far. Knisley up 1 spot. Nicely getting into his rhythm. Different livery for him than I've seen some previous times. Maybe he's got a special wrap for the street stock that's different than the others. So he doesn't have to be lonely. It's farmersonly.com on his car. He's not making the rear bumper of Simon Foweather lonely either. They remain one of the closer battles on track for the moment. And also for a decent finish and a decent points haul. So all of the old runways and taxiways through that complex of corners that feeds onto the back straight behind the paddock and to Sunset. Speaking of Sunset, we're not going to get it in this race. It's too early in the day. We're racing about 1:30 in the afternoon, and that's why the track temperature is very, very hot and still rising all throughout this race. It is that in the 90s Fahrenheit? We're just short of the 90s? Warm. So, lovely in the shade, hot on the track, I think is what we'll call that, still warming up. Of hold station out there at the moment. Lutfer and Kowalczyk are spread out a little bit. There's a lock up from Foweather, but Knisley wasn't in place to quite grab that one. from the nasty spin we had for John Hurley, I think he's gathered some of it up and he's going to catch Aaron Thorpe for 8th. But it's still on here, Foweather and Knisley. So a couple of 2-car battles, and we'll see if any of them actually end up catching each other, because Thorpe and Hurley, it's 12 seconds back from Foweather and Knisley, but motoring on a little bit faster. So we'll see how this all sorts itself out. Justin Hall, still the fastest driver out on circuit, pulling yet more time out of Alex Albert. It's down to 6.7 seconds, so don't give up hope on that one. And Hurley's just gone and grabbed a spot from Thorpe. John Hurley, a man possessed at the moment, using all of the track here, there, everywhere, to go around the outside of Thorpe and put himself back up into 8th. Leaders across the line, here's an update on their times. A 2:19.7 for Alex Albert, a 2:18.9 for Justin Hall. Makes him the only driver in the 2:18s on circuit right now. Almost everyone else lapping 2-minute 20s, 2-minute 21s, and then some of the meat of the field in the 2-minute 22s out there as well. So Hall flying along. Using up the fuel, using up the tyres though. Maybe Albert's going to try to pull a fast one on him in the pit stop, because this car, well, the fuel fill rate is what the amateur racers would be very much used to. It's not gallons per second, it's seconds per gallon on the fueling rate. So if you burn a lot, then you need to fill a lot. You spend more time in that pit box. So what we're left with, approaching the halfway point of the race, expecting a lot of pit stops soon. What we have, though, is 2-car battle, Max Lupfer and Charles Kowalczyk. 2-car battle, Simon Foweather and Chris Knisley. And every now and again, we can fit them in the same camera shot, so they're not far apart. And that definitely leaves it open for someone like Simon Foweather or Chris Knisley to have a quick pit stop, save just a little bit of fuel, and really, really jump them guys on pit road, find themselves in the top 5, if they're thinking strategically in the Florida sun. And there's definitely some positions to be gained and lost here between 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. Despite his good race pace at times, Lupfer still very much under pressure from Kowalczyk, who bombs it into turn 1 once again, locks him up, gets helped around by Max Lupfer. Charles Kowalczyk sent spinning. He was already a little out of control, but that's made contact with the barriers, I think. Yes, it has. Quite significantly for Charles Kowalczyk. Really bombed it in, had, I think, more than one tyre locked up there when the rear bumper got hooked. And the tyres are 3 deep on the exit there. This car is quite sturdily constructed, but I would believe that's probably not the best. He might be thinking about taking his pit stop now. Battle continues in live pictures here as Lupfer then finds himself under pressure from Foweather and Knisley. 3 cars for 4th, 5th, and 6th. Now the outside is going to go Simon Foweather. There's not a lot of traction out there. It's quite a tight turn. You lose a lot of ground going the long way, and it's not going to work on this occasion. Simon Foweather a little bit there. Little damage. Not a great day for Love Racing, unfortunately. Poor Simon Foweather there, a bit too deep into the corner, so it was. "32 minutes to go." There's a lot of damage on Charles Kowalczyk. So he's going to come under pressure from John Hurley, while Luke was under pressure from Knisley. How's he looked after his tyres? We wonder. Hurley up into 7th. No, maybe. Side by side, Hurley had a look. Kowalczyk, we know, not afraid to send it in late. Keeps it around the outside of Sunset Band. So John Hurley in his slightly more pristine looking Danger Racing car. It's not going to get that move done. It's torching the tyres, leaving some black marks on the road through turn 1 once again for Charles Kowalczyk. And word from Nick Love. Mechanical failure in the pedal box for him. Wow, imagine driving a race car with a problem in the pedal box that didn't let you brake how you wanted into the corner. It's a dangerous situation, isn't it? So unfortunately, that's forced Nick Love into a retirement. John Hurley might get a chance. No! Whoa, 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 whoa. Nearly turned by the rejoin from Charles Kowalczyk there. Scary moment, but both of the drivers appear to carry on undamaged. Heart in mouth. Very much so there, but John Hurley carries on up into 6th place. And it's almost halfway time in the race, so that might be the time, the calling for some of the drivers to decide a new set of tyres would be nice. Seen quite a few drivers locking up front tyre here and there, sometimes more. The leader, Alex Albert, is he going to go deep into the stint, or is he going to maybe try and predict what others behind would do and cover them off? Well, he stays out one more lap, but it's just a 5-second lead that he's got now over Justin Hall. To the line for Alex Albert is 2:20.6. To the line for Justin Hall, that's a 2:19.5. So a second out of the leader. Florida man taking some courage and strength from the fact that this racetrack is still hours away from where he lives. But come on, it makes a good story. So Hurley and Kowalczyk on the lane. Keep a keen eye on these pit stop times. My understanding should be that despite having to jack up one side of the car and then the other and, you know, change the tires with 5 nuts, you can still change the tires faster than the fuel goes in. So the fuel might take 30 seconds, 40 seconds, a little longer. We're going to see, because Hurley, Kowalczyk, Kosick, Grinnell, all on the lane. John Hurley took advantage of the fast repair of the spare car, get the front left fixed. You can see his tyre change is done, and he's still waiting on fuel after 30 seconds. So the repairs are going to be good for him. He'll come out with fresh tyres, bit of fuel on board, and some clean aerodynamics, less drag for him. 40 seconds, 42 seconds, long stop for Hurley. I'm telling you, the fuel goes in very slowly for these things, and after 47 seconds, he lights them up, gets going. No pit lane speed limiter to help you out in this car. That's can sometimes trip up the seasoned sim racers, but I don't know of anyone with a pit lane speed limiter in Champ Car Endurance Series. If you've got one, how does it work? Tell me. Curious Curious for that one, but John Hurley has rejoined with a 47-second pit stop. 53 for Charles Kowalczyk. 48 for Simon Foweather when he pitted. He's come out ahead of Hurley. So if you can get that pit stop down underneath 47 seconds or so, then I think that'd be a competitive pit stop, competitive time. First, second, and third have continued without using pit lane. Hall has taken yet more time out of the lead. Fourth and fifth, it's Lutfer and Knisley together on the lane. So there might yet still be a battle for first. And there's going to be a race on pit road for what was fourth and fifth. You can see the tyres going on both of these cars. We've been on a string of street stock races, so drivers should be familiar with the strategy now. We had Auto Club, we had Indianapolis. So anyone who competed there in the Sim series, in the iRacing series, be familiar with what the best strategy for this car is. But have some time behind the wheel, be getting used to it. Pit stops approaching 40 seconds now for Lutfer and Knisley. Tyres done, waiting on the fuel. And Knisley is maybe going to get the jump on Lutfer. No, he's going to back out of that one and leave pit road just behind, but 47, 48 seconds or so for these guys. That's how much fuel they thought they needed here at Sebring. Don't imagine the fuel consumption was quite as heavy as Auto Club here, but still quite a few straights, quite a bit of wide open throttle, and this is a thirsty girl of a car with that carbureted V8. They rejoined very close to Foweather and Hurley, and Aaron Thorpe as well. With pit stops from about 2/3 of your fields, but the top three yet to make a stop. They're approaching pit in this time. And Albert's still out. Hall still out. Andrew Archer still out. So that's a contra strategy from the top three. Oh, Alex Albert, huge lock up there at the lead. He's on the grass. He only had 4 seconds of a lead, trying to rejoin here. What was a 4-second lead for Alex Albert is now waiting for it to adjust. 1.7 seconds. That's cost him dearly. No damage there. But that just shows that he's gone long on these tyres. The track temperature isn't getting any cooler. Well, what advantage he had, a lot of it has just gone and disappeared for Alex Albert. Just 1.6 seconds ahead of Justin Hall. And he gets to the next braking zone and he goes in deep as well. You put heat into those tyres, you wear them down. You take that good grippy layer off the outside, you wear it down to the underneath. That's a technical term. Once the good goes away from them, it's tough to get it back. He scorches an inside once again at the next braking zone. 3 in a row, sending smoke signals for to Justin Hall, and the lead is underneath 1 second. The pit stops aren't far away for our leaders. This is getting interesting here. Right on board with Justin Hall for a bit. So 0.8 of a second to separate them. Alex Albert and Justin Hall for the lead of the race on pit lane together. Hall has had to work hard on track and maybe burn a bit more fuel. We know Alex Albert can be the tricky strategy aficionado. Is he going to say, give me 1 gallon less. I don't need that much fuel. We need the short stop to get that track position. But he hasn't had anyone to slipstream out there. Justin Hall worked through the pack a little bit, but then had to put in some really hot laps to try and claw that gap down. Let's see what they do. Past 30 seconds, and Andrew Archer in third has joined them as well. Corey Barrett, going long, is going to take the lead of the race for 1 lap. No, he's not. He's going into pit lane. That's a shame. But Alex Albert, 45 seconds away and rolling. Justin Hall, 49 seconds. So it's going to be 4, maybe 5 seconds as they leave the lane. Alex Albert in the lead. Ouch! Long stop for Andrew Archer as well, 53.6 seconds. I think he'll hold on to third there because of the toing and froing and the bumping and barging of others like Lutfer and Foweather. So 20 minutes to go. A little bit of cloud cover over the circuit, and it's new tyres for Albert, Hall and Archer. 10 laps to go here. Gap from underneath the second. It's back out to 4. And Hall will be fueled to push hard and see if he can force Alex Albert into a mistake or himself. Cold tyres, bit of a menace. So there is one driver who hasn't pitted yet, and that's Javier Pinzon in 9th. And once that happens, we'll have a full adjusted field, everyone having made their pit stop. Got Corredor versus Carrizosa. And, well, let's name check all the Club Florida drivers. Got Justin Hall in 2nd. Javier Pinzon in 9th for the moment. And then Corredor William in 16th. Joel Brownsy 17th. Carlos Corredor in 20th. And Ernesto Carrizosa in 21st. So that's the local boys. We got some slightly more locals in Nick Love and Alex Coffard as Club Carolina. Matthew Thompson is Club Atlantic, wherever that is. John Hurley and Charles Kowalczyk, also Carolina. And then Knisley and Foweather, our Mid-South drivers, as we pointed out. Longer toe for Grinnell and Warden, Club New York. And, well, Andrew Archer, we know, New Zealander living in Melbourne, Australia. So that's even further than me. Whoa, he's under a bit of pressure as well. Lutfer at speed would have, having stopped earlier, warmed those tyres up a bit earlier. Have the confidence to press on now against Andrew Archer, who's still maybe just warming up those tyres a little bit. They're very spongy when they're cold, and they're spongy when they're warm as well, but to a lesser extent. So, battle for honour and glory on the podium, and if Archer can hold on a little bit, be smooth, be sensible, I think the car will come towards him. He'll have better tyres, but Tower turned down the inside is an unconventional place to look for an overtake. Lutfer tries it, dives down the inside, bounces across the curb, and parks himself in third position. Lutfer with a 2:18.7, his personal best lap time last lap, is pressing on. Be a struggle, I think, for Archer to get that one back if that's the kind of pace that Lutfer has got. That would be the second fastest lap of anyone for Lutfer, bettered only by Alex Albert by about a tenth, because Hall's best lap was a 2:18.9. So, waited till the back half of the race here, but Lutfer's got some speed. He's looking at a podium place or position. Let's put both of the words together in that sentence. Looking for a top 3. And the glory and HJBC interview that comes with it. Cosick and Barrett, 10th and 11th. The back of the grid charger. Corey Barrett stopped late. We mentioned that. 1 lap later than the leaders. On the same lap as the leaders. But he's just warming up those tyres. They're going to have shortly a little bit more grip than Andrew Cosick in front. Cosick responds, though, with his personal best lap there, a 2:21.7, to match Corey Barrett's 2:21.8. Both of these guys in personal best pace at the moment. Those lighter fuel loads deeper in the race, and also a new set of tyres just getting into its best and grippiest window. Andrew Cosick from Ohio. I believe, someone will tell me if I'm wrong, that you call them a Buckeye. Corey Barrett, the Connecticut menace here, is going to cross back underneath at the hairpin, and they're going to go side by side, and that puts Barrett from the back of the grid into the top 10, 13 positions gained. Not a lot of movement for the lead. It's quiet on that front. 7 seconds still between Albert and Hall, just trading lap times in the low 2:19s. Lutfer and Archer match times in the 2:19 deads. So Archer's found the turn of pace now on those tyres. Lutfer just fractionally faster. That's personal best for Andrew Archer. Might have just been in the right place to pick up an itty bit of a slipstream in some places as well, and that certainly helps, finding a couple tenths of a second to set your best lap time. 8 tenths back from third. And they got to be careful because they are still only 3 seconds clear of Chris Knisley. So a mistake running off the track or something else for these guys would open the door for the 691 Wyneman Dynamobile. Nicely metallic, reflective blue in the sun. So make sure you're wearing eye protection. I recommend UV filtering sunglasses or a welding mask looking at that thing. the car, not Knisley. He's not that bad on the eyes. Barrett's gone and lost 10th place, though. It's a shame the pressure's gotten to him. And Andrew Kosick back into the top 10. Barrett right with him. And now it's Kosick's turn for a bit of a mistake. Too much pressure on the brake pedal. Barrett gets 10th back. So the tyre lockups giveth and the tyre lockups taketh away, and then they giveth back, it would seem, for the battle in the top 10. Going to say I think Andrew Archer's gained a little bit of ground, but it's my eyes deceiving me. It's still just 0.7 of a second. Was 8, 7. The take is very similar. Both of them with a little puff of smoke into the hairpin. Easy to do because it sort of drops away towards the apex. Once you start turning in, that lifts up the inside tyre. And with plenty of body roll in these cars, it's easy to unload the inside tyre, really roll the car left, right, pitches and yaws. Lighting up the rear tyres there on the way out of the corner. Max Lupfer a little bit more restrained for Andrew Archer. Lets him close just a car length or so. About to cross over 10 minutes to go from this 1 hour race at Sebring. Jumping across the curb, Andrew Archer's trying to set up a late apex. Carry lots of speed into the slipstream behind Max Lupfer. This, one of those places you get this thing all the way up into 4th gear. And the slipstream will help you along as you start to reach the terminal velocity. Yes, 2 miles an hour faster at the end of the straight for Andrew Archer. That's about a walking pace, so that will close you in just a little bit, and then had the pressure on Lupfer into Sunset Bend and he locked up a little bit. If he keeps doing that, track temperature has stayed low 90s. So still possible to wear those tyres out against the pavement, against the bitumen and all the different surfaces of Sebring. Another lockup from Lupfer. Very aggressive into the turns across the curbs, and we saw he was aggressive through Tower Turn when he grabbed 3rd place. He was aggressive through there, but it's not helped him defend 3rd. Archer 4/10 back. Still just in the mirrors for Lupfer. 3-car scrap deep in the field though. Palermo, Corredor, Carrizosa. Camilo Carrizosa's actually just dropped back a tiny bit there, but William Corredor keeping the pressure on Palermo. And here they go. Good run from Corredor. Palermo under pressure in a vaguely Gulf Oils reminiscent colours there, the sort of blue and orange. Settle down a little bit here, not a lot of movement. Where there was movement was Hurley got past Simon Foweather, I think, for 6th there. Just to say that Palermo's going to try to knock the 17 out of the way. 71, I should say. Ernesto Carrizosa actually not helping Camilo Carrizosa here. Through all of that, William Corredor, I think, did grab the position away. Just 3/10 in it for 3rd, though, and final podium placing. Has looked like Lutfer's been wrestling the car around a little bit harder, maybe just using up the tyres a little more. Archer sticking with him, might find himself with just a little more grip right at the end. Can he be aggressive enough to make a move on Lutfer? Gonna put David Warden a lap down. He stays offline, rolls out of the throttle a little bit, and very handily lets Lutfer and Archer through. Oh, that's maybe tricked Max Lutfer a little bit. Big lockup, very wide at Sunset. Archer's going to tuck back underneath. Not get a move done, though, but find himself right in the slipstream again of Max Lutfer for 3rd. Not letting him get away, not letting him take a breather. Certainly seems from some of the angles that Archer is a little bit smoother and less aggressive. Lutfer a little more aggressive, which works for the lap time sometimes, but then goes against him occasionally when he gets on the throttle a little too early or into the corners a bit too deep. Like there, where he has a half spin at the apex, just helps rotate the car a little bit. He's under pressure, Archer's coming. Archer going to look to the inside. He does roll out wide down the inside. No overlap, so we'd have to go deep on the brakes, and that hasn't been his modus operandi. Again, it just forces Lutfer into a little deeper into the braking zone, a little harder on the brakes than otherwise you would do. Just the threat, the presence, the pressure works somewhat. Talked about the families earlier. It's Rachel Cossack just up the road from Lutfer and Archer. Doesn't look like it's going to be a problem for 3rd or 4th place as on the Ullman Straight. They sail on by. And once again, down towards Sunset Bend, the corner of 1,000 lines and 1,000 tyre lockups as well for Max Lutfer. Again, the tighter line from Archer. This time he will carry a little bit more speed off. This is a bit of a defense from Lutfer. He'd normally be further to the right-hand side of the circuit. When he realizes that the move's not on, he takes the normal racing line. And Archer has a look down the inside. Look for the traffic cone that's stuck in the fencing at the apex to let you know when to start tracking out again. Getting towards the end of this one though, and there is just under 2 minutes left on the clock. That means the white flag's going to be waved for our leaders at the end of this lap. Alex Albert still 5.8 seconds clear of Justin Hall. No signs of any fuel dramas there, so strategy, the shorter pit stop, putting Alex Albert in a good position. There's positions that are less certain though, getting towards the end of the race here, of course. 3rd and 4th, still 12th and 13th. Battling each other, and Corey Barrett slipped back into 11th. Andrew Cosick back up into 10th there as well. So few positions that are not set in stone, not to be taken for granted when we start the final lap of the race shortly. That's through the final corner for the penultimate time. Very well decorated start-finish line here. Has the white flag in hand for the race leader. Justin Hall went quick on that one as well, though. More than a second faster than Alex Albert that lap. He's not going to find 5 seconds on the final lap of the race, surely. Andrew Archer, though, doesn't need to find 5 seconds. He only needs to find a couple tenths on the final lap to keep the pressure on Max Lutfer. Oh, that is a very, very tight line, just grazing the wall on the inside. For Andrew Archer, carries on. I don't see a whole lot of damage on the car. I think he'll get away with that one. Might have knocked the mirrors off. These cars don't have external mirrors. So the pressure's well and truly still on Mr. Grid Life Max Lutfer. Archer from down under comes into the hairpin, gives him a tap. Knock, knock. Who's there? It's me, Andrew Archer. Which is weird because normally archers aren't a melee weapon, but here he is, battling for third. Archer's got to force a mistake out of Lutfer if he's going to stand on the podium. Albert and Hall not under any pressure to make any mistakes, though, and they could still stand on the podium. Final corner, though, for the leader. Not from pole position this time, but from the front row of the grid. Got to the lead, led away. Solid strategy, and it's the race win at Sebring for Alex Albert. Justin Hall just making him work for it slightly in second place. Final turn for Lutfer and Archer. Time and opportunity runs out, and Max Lutfer will stand on the podium. In round 13 of the ChampCar iRacing series, Cosick and Barrett are changing positions on the last lap. Corey Barrett Connecticut Menace up into 10th at the expense of Andrew Kosick. Who knows if it'll stay that way. Just 2 more braking zones for them here. The run on to Yeoman Straight, incredibly critical. I'll tell you what, Barrett's actually got that one pretty cleanly. So it'd have to be a lock-up, a slide, something to that effect in Sunset Bend for Corey 18 volts Barrett to give up the top 10 finish. They've both given it a bit of a lock-up on the way in, but everyone seemed to be locking up a tyre on the way into every corner today. Such is the nature of the braking on these cars, and Corey Barrett is going to keep that top 10 from Andrew Kosick. Who else is still on the lead lap? David Palermo's seen the checkered flag. Brownsy, I think, is just on the lead lap as well. So there we go. Round 13 of the ChampCar iRacing Series from Sebring in street stock. And the winner was Alex Albert. He takes home the points. Justin Hall gave him a fight, but couldn't come close enough. And maybe got undone in the early stages of the race. Tried to fight back, but it might have been too late on that one. He gets second. Lupfer and Archer, entertaining battle through the final stint for this final step on the podium. In the end, Lupfer cannot be rustled on that one, and Archer settles for 4th. Chris Knisley, Wynham and Dynam for the 5th place. Hurley in 6th, Foweather 7th. Kowalczyk flying the banner for Love Racing in 8th there, and then Aaron Thorpe in 9th. Barrett 10th, Kosick 11th. William Corredor, best of that house, in 12th, David Palermo in 13th, and Brownsy 14th, Camilo Carrizosa 15th, Scott Grinnell 16th, David Warden 17th place, and joining the drivers off the lead lap, then Carlos Corredor 19th, Jason Fianek 20th, Ernesto Carrizosa 21st, Rachel Kosick 2 laps off the lead in 22nd, and then it's retirements. We saw pedal dramas for Nick Love. Didn't quite catch what was the precise problem for Alex Coffard, but he retired that car, and Matthew Thompson, Philip Hayden did not take the start of the race. That's how they run, and it was won at Sebring. Before we wrap up coverage, though, it's time to have a word with a couple of our drivers. I like to save the best for last, so let's start with 3rd place, and we should be able to grab Max Lupfer. Max, have we got you? A bit of an up and down race there for you.
Yep, you have me loud and clear. Yeah, this whole first half of the race, I had picked up some damage from smacking the walls. I don't know if you guys caught that or not. But I was running around with some damage, and it was probably costing me around half a second a lap. So that was kind of unfortunate because I was just slowly losing touch with the guys out front. I was really happy with the opening lap all the way up until we hit the 13, 14, 15 chicane there. And I got caught up with Justin and Alex and their little collision. Otherwise, that would have been a really good start. Would have gone from 7th to 2nd. But then, yeah, the second half, it was a lot of just trying to get the most out of the car and then trying to keep Andrew behind me. I had to work my butt off to stay ahead of him. But
track was pretty warm out there. What were you? Almost everyone taking tires. Were they needed and helpful?
Oh, they were definitely needed. I mean, I felt like I could only maybe get like 4 or 5 laps before they really started to fall off. So I had to make the most of the tires when they were fresh. And thankfully, I had just enough to get ahead of Andrew after his pit stop before his tires warmed up. And then it was just a matter of trying to manage that gap back to him the rest of the race.
What about the fuel consumption? They fill this tank, one thimble at a time. No concerns there, or overfilling, or what was the fuel number like?
Considering that I didn't have time pre-race to do any testing and figure out what my fuel number was going to be, I was pretty happy I came down to 0.7 of a lap left when I crossed the finish line. So I think I got it pretty much bang on where I wanted it to be.
Well, third place. Well done. Great battle at the end. Anyone you want to thank?
I just want to thank Alex Albert. I didn't get to say this last time because I had to dip early, but recently my old wheel had conked out on me, and Alex was nice enough to basically send me a loaner for the time being until I could get a new wheel sourced. So I really appreciate that, keeping me going. So yeah, thanks to Alex for that.
Cool. Well, there we go. Max Lutfer, third place today at Sebring. We move another step up the podium, and the next step up is Justin Hall. Were it not for that first lap, it seemed like you had a lot of pace today, Justy.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah, it was a tough one. Had a rough start, and then just too many mistakes for Alex.
What about the street stock? We say goodbye to it for this season after this race. How has it treated you?
Well, it's given me a lot of good racing. I'm going to miss it. I really enjoy it, just throwing around and kind of banging doors a little bit. It's a tank.
How'd the tires go out there? If I had $1 for every locked brake I saw, I'd be buying one of these.
Yeah, I know what you mean. They just, I think with the bumps of Sebring and the tires, it's just so easy to lock at least one of them up every single turn. You have to be really, really delicate with it. Tire fall off wasn't too bad. It was really the cold tires that were catching me out a lot more so than the worn out ones.
Florida boy, Florida track, no home ground advantage?
Unfortunately, haven't made it over to Sebring yet. Kept on been meaning to get over there, but just haven't had a working car whenever the track day pops up. But certainly someday soon I'll be out there.
Well, good work putting on a fight there, making Alex work for it, grabbing second place, and hopefully we'll see you again 11th of November for VIR North.
Yeah, man, definitely plan on being there. Thanks for everything you do, and shout out to Alex. That was a really good race. Congrats again to him for winning.
Thanks, Justin. Second place finisher. And the winner, drum roll, welcome, Alex Albert.
Hey, thanks, David.
Close there before the pit stop with Justin, but I see you've been studying my notes and you pipped him at the stop.
Yeah, we were able to take a little bit less fuel there than him. I thought that he would be able to take off at the same time, but got a bit of a jump on him. And I think he must have made some mistakes there on the cold tires because just opened up a gap and then never really saw him again.
What about this track in this car? Pretty flat, but still, some aggressive curbs here and there, some long trailing braking zones. How was that?
Oh, I think this car suits this track very well. The long straightaways allow you to really wind it out. It's quite bumpy here, but this car really loves the bumps, so You can level on the curbs, bounce around. I was having a great time, so really enjoyed the combo. Thought it was great. Glad to see we had a nice turnout this week and a lot of quick guys. Hate to see that there was a bit of a mix-up there on the first lap and some contact, but yeah, overall, good race for us. It looked pretty uneventful, but we were really pushing the whole way. Justin had the pace, and I, just really wasn't sure what was going to happen.
Just 3 rounds to go after this. Your best 12 results count to the championship, and you've just locked in another W. When is time to start counting chickens?
Yeah, I think we can maybe start developing next year's car, as they say. So we're just here to, keep supporting the league, racing with these fun guys that we've been racing with all year, and try to get as many wins as we can. Then head back next year and do it all again.
What's on the bucket list for Alex Albert? What's on the bucket list for Huge Ass in 2021?
I don't know if it'll be 2021, but I think I can definitely say Sebring now. It's never been one of my favorite tracks, but after the last couple weeks doing the practice races, the practice time here, I've really come to love it. And maybe if I can find something that's similar to the street stock big V8, something like I drove down at Daytona this year. Yeah, if I can get the right ride at Sebring, I think I'm definitely going to have to check it out. Put it on the bucket list.
Well, if you're down in Florida racing Sebring in ChampCar and your caller ID lights up with the name Alex Albert, I'd pick up that one. I'd answer that call. So, Alex, congratulations on another win. Closing thoughts, final thanks. Max Lutfer very generously thanked you for supplying some equipment.
Oh yeah, we just want to help out other teams. Lots of teams have helped us out, and I guess if I'm going to give a shout out, it would be to Narwhal Racing. They were the A-class winners at Indianapolis, but they were also the reason that we were racing the second half of the day on Sunday and into the second half of the day on Saturday and into Sunday. They sold us some parts when we needed them, and at cost. So great guys. We were really happy to see them win, and so in that spirit, we wanted to help out a fellow racer, and so helped out Max in his time of need, and I'm sure he'll pay it on to another racer in need someday down the line.
Gonna congratulate you once again. Always delightful to hear from you. As I said, 3 races left in the championship. Which one is exciting you the most between VIR North in the Solstice, Barber in the Solstice, or Laguna Seca in the Mazda Miata?
Oh, the next one on the calendar is VIR North, and since that's so close to home, definitely want to get another W there. I like the Solstice. We ran really well there in the South Course earlier this year. I don't know that I'll have much of a chance once we get back in the Miata. The Miata's some of these other guys are a little bit quicker in it, but yeah, we'll just see how it goes in Virginia and then go on from there.
Well, that's going to wrap up coverage of ChampCar iRacing Series from Sebring. 60 minutes of racing done. Alex Albert top step of the podium. And what a race it was. We spoke to all of our podium, all of them magnanimous and good conversation. So as I said, 11th of November, VIR North is the next round. Coverage on HJBC. Head to forum.champcar.org if you want to race with us, if you want to sign up, if you need more information about what it takes to come sim racing with ChampCar. And the great prizes that could be on offer. That's going to be all, though, from Sebring. Thank you all who tuned in, and we'll see you again November 11th.